So hey guys, so welcome to another Warframe video, and today we're going to take a quick look at yet another Tenet weapon, and one that I've actually been looking forward to for quite some time, the Tenet Arca Plasmor. Now, just like any other Tenet weapon, the only way to get the Tenet Arca Plasmor is by defeating a sister of Parvos that's wielding the Arca Plasmor, and I've already made a full video on how to deal with the sisters of Parvos and how to engage with the system, so I will simply link it in the description down below. The Tenet Arca Plasmor is a Mastery Rank 16 primary shotgun that does 760 radiation damage per shot, though the damage is actually going to be higher here because you get a bonus element or an elemental combo based on the progenitor Warframe. Now outside of that, the weapon comes with a pretty solid 22% crit chance, a standard 2x crit multiplier, somewhat low fire rate of 1, a 3-second reload, and a very nice 34% status chance. So it's actually a very chunky upgrade over the standard Arca Plasmor. It has better critical multiplier, much better fall off, it actually has almost twice as much effective range as the standard one, and while the fire rate and reload are slightly worse, the status is better and the damage, even the base damage, is higher. And that's not everything, because the Tenet Arca Plasmor also fixes one of the main issues with the standard Arca Plasmor, which was that the projectile is so big it was very easy to hit terrain, at which point the projectile would fizzle out, because the projectile on the Tenet Arca Plasmor will bounce off if you hit terrain. This just makes the projectile far more usable, especially in tightly packed tile sets, but it also allows you to occasionally do double damage, because if an enemy is standing close to a wall, if you fire at them, the projectile can bounce off the wall and fly through them again. Though unfortunately it still suffers from the second half of the problem of the projectile being too big, and that's that the projectile is so big it's very easy to headshot things, so the weapon doesn't actually have a headshot multiplier. You can still hit headshots with it, they just don't do any extra damage. And finally, since this is a Tenet weapon, it gains more capacity and you extract more mastery from it as you put on more and more Forma up to a maximum of 5, so if you want to squeeze the absolute maximum out of the Tenet Arca Plasmor in terms of capacity and mastery, and also unlock the ability to install a lens, you're gonna have to put on 5 Forma. Though for me that would be a bit of an overkill, because in the end I just ended up using a 1 Forma setup, which was a V, since the Tenet Arca Plasmor comes with 2 Vs as standard. So in the end the mods I ended up running were Prime Point Blank for damage, Hell's Chamber for multi-shot, then Critical Deceleration, because it's just so much better than Blunderbuss, but you can kind of feel the fire rate. The fire rate isn't great to begin with, and this is gonna make the delay between shots even worse. But it's just way too much crit, and I don't know if I would actually run Hunter Munitions without it. But anyway, after that we have Primed Ravage for the crit damage, Fatal Acceleration, because you might as well put it on if it fits, right? It gives you a little bit better fall off and it gives you faster projectile, so it's good. Then we have Hunter Munitions, so that 30% of the time when we crit we leave behind a slash proc, and this is kind of necessary for this weapon if you want some form of scaling damage for endgame. Now after that we have Laser Sights, which on a headshot gives us even more crit chance when aiming down sights. This works really well with Hunter Munitions because it rounds out our crit, but if you don't want to aim down sights, you can run Galvanized Savvy for more status and more damage against enemies with status effects, or if you don't have Galvanized mods, you can run Vigilante Armaments for the multi-shot. And to top it all off, I'm personally running Chilling Reload because I wasn't super happy with the 3-second reload, so I bumped it down to 2.9 with Chilling Reload, which also adds cold damage, and that cold damage then gets combined with Toxic Barrage, or the toxin damage from Toxic Barrage, to give us viral damage as well as some extra status. Also, if you have Primary Merciless, definitely put it on, it's gonna help a lot. Now as far as the damage is concerned, it's actually pretty great, which pleases me greatly because the standard Arca Plasmor has been a bit meh since the headshot nerf. The damage can even be excellent if you play right and you bounce the projectile so that it hits the enemies again. But by far the biggest chunk of your damage is gonna come from those slash procs that you leave behind, which are gonna do a ton of damage, since even though this is a shotgun, the damage isn't split into different pellets, it's just a big blob of damage that leaves behind nasty slash procs. Don't get me wrong though, the upfront damage is still really good, so anything below level 100 is most likely going to get one shot. It's just a really versatile weapon that's a ton of fun to use. I was a big fan of the standard Arca Plasmor. I used it a ton and I had a lot of fun with it, but then they nerfed the headshot multiplier and did nothing to compensate for it, so the weapon just ended up being kind of mediocre at best. But luckily now I have the Tenet Arca Plasmor, which is basically all I ever wanted, and some more. This weapon went way beyond my expectations. I expected it to be alright, better than the standard Arca Plasmor, but I didn't expect it to be quite as good as it is. It's just fantastic, I love it, so I'm of course going to recommend that you give the Tenet Arca Plasmor a shot. It may not be quite as flashy as some of the other weapons, but it's definitely really good and it's a ton of fun to use. The only thing that's a bit of a bummer with the Tenet Arca Plasmor is that we don't have the shotgun equivalent of internal bleeding or hemorrhage, because the Arca Plasmor does have a force impact proc on its projectile. But anyway, that's it for the video, so I thank you very much for watching as always guys, I hope you've enjoyed it and found it helpful, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.